So here we go. So welcome to the Fitchburg Cultural Council's third public grant review meeting. We're opening this meeting tonight at 5 o'clock on Tuesday, January 26th at 5 p.m. on the nose. The Fitchburg Cultural Council is a nonprofit volunteer body, and we're part of the city of Fitchburg, and we're part of the Greater Massachusetts Cultural Council, whose mission is to support the arts. And that's what we're here to do tonight, is to finish our grant review process. So a few housekeeping things for guests. This is an open meeting. It's a public meeting. Guests are allowed to speak at the beginning of the meeting. It is being filmed and not being streamed tonight, but it will be live for the public at a later date, thanks to FATV here in Fitchburg. So tonight we're going to talk about, first of all, a few notes. I wanted to thank Jim for helping us with all the information, the numbers for tonight, and also Joe for helping with some support. And also wanted to mention that thanks to Eileen, our grant denial letters have already gone out on Saturday, January 23rd. This means that the recipients have 2 weeks to appeal, which would bring the date to February 13th. So what this means is our standard meeting, our monthly meeting, which would be Tuesday, February 16th at 4:30 p.m., can be our grant appeal meeting, should we have any appeals. So if all of you could save that date, that'll be our next meeting. Thank you in advance for that. Also, does anybody have any questions on that?
No.
Okay. All right, so that gets us into our grant portion of the meeting. So we will share the screen with some details, but first of all, actually, Nate, may I share the screen? Let's see if I can. So we're going to go right into some numbers. So we've received 53 grants this year. That's exciting. The total was $56,085. We denied 10 of them, and we've approved 43 of them. So that equals $50,885. From our last meeting, when we heard the financials, we have available to spend $45,236 this year. So when we raise our cap was 1,000. If we raise our cap to $1,850, this would fully fund 34 grants, which would be $45,090. That would leave us with $146 left that we need to spend, since we need to spend all of our money. So what I would like to propose to you guys is that we allocate the $146 that's left over, plus $4 from our administrative funds, to completely fund the Stratton Players, which would completely fund their grant. Their grant number is 43433. Because they only need $150 after we've done the $1,850 allocation across the board to completely fund their grant. So who would like to make a motion to support this breakdown?
I make a motion to support it.
That was Claudia.
Yes.
Thank you, Claudia.
I'll second.
Thank you, Matt. So we have a motion on the table from Claudia.
Just to make sure I'm clear, that's the Artisans grant 43433?
Yes.
Okay, okay, all right.
So we have a motion on the table from Claudia. We have the second from Matt. Anyone speaking to the motion?
So that would be to fund the full $2,000?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
May
Can
we?
I ask a question about what was just on the screen? There were some figures there, the 50,000.
Yes.
And the 45,236. This proposal will then use that 45,236, which we have available for granting,
Yes.
not the 50,885.
Correct. It would use up all of this, and we would need $4 left from our administrative funds to fully fund the Stratton Players.
Okay.
Any other questions? Joe, could you, I don't know if you have access to Joe. If anybody would like to see the spreadsheet, we can show it. Could you show?
So, I'm sorry,
would-
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and we can also do a roll call vote as well, because we do have the motions on the table.
Sure.
Casey, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask if you could show that one more time. Sorry.
My screen, sure, yep,
I appreciate it.
no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
So right now, we're just voting on whether or not to fund Stratton the full 2,000 that they requested.
No, this is a full fund of all of our spend, all that we have available to us. Let me show this again. So we have this much to spend. We took out our administrative funds. We have this from last year's remaining funds, which allows us this total amount that we need to spend on our grant. So when we raise our cap to 1850, we're able to fund 34 of the grants completely, with 146 left.
But
So
Just another question
Sure.
from Jim. The $4,291, that does include the encumbered funds as well, correct?
no,
So
the encumbered funds are taken out, right, Jim? Because those are already spent in effect.
That's not what I have. The encumbered funds are 2,550.
Those funds aren't included in the number, Jim,
Yeah,
because
those,
they're encumbered. So, and we had matched our records with your records from last meeting
Okay,
in terms of the amount of money we have to spend. And I compared that with the annual report on the website as well as to what you had put in there. And we seem to be in sync.
okay, so the encumbered funds, the administrative funds are there. And so the amount of money to fully fund Stratton would be coming out of where?
out of that number, that 45,236.
There's $146 of that remaining, and the motion on the table is to, in addition to fully funding the ones that we can at 1850, plus $146 extra for Stratton players, an additional $4 from our administrative funds to
Right,
finish it off
okay,
and give it full funding.
yep, okay.
Anybody else questions?
So right now, we're voting just to fully fund all of the eligible grantees and taking some from administration fees for Stratton players.
Yeah, $4. And that completely uses our money from the state this cycle and what we had remaining from Jim's numbers from last time.
Maybe I'm slow. What we're going to give $2,500 to the blacksmith event, $1,000 to the 85th. I just only have part of them. We're going to go all the way down where, somebody asked for 900 first tech, we'll give them 900 too. So this is everything on this whole list. And we were 146 short of doing everything. So we're taking 100. So in this one vote, we're approving everything on our list.
So they're,
Capped at 1850 though, right?
yeah, capped at 1850.
Capped at 1850.
And what we're allowed to spend, because we were asked for more money than we have to spend.
Yeah,
So
I understand that, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a few grants that don't get completely full funded. There's about 6 of them left at that point that aren't
Yeah.
completely funded, but they did get up to 1850. So a lot of them, which is what's really nice, we were able to fund a lot of them completely, which is a really fair way to spend the funds.
Does
Okay.
this,
In a typical year, we cap at $1,000. So these folks that are getting 1850 are really getting some significant investment from us
Okay.
this year.
I forget who it was, but does this include those who emailed us after submitting their application saying that they want to raise their request? And we addressed it on grant review session 1. So that was included in the numbers.
It should be, as long as we had the numbers, which are all in our Excel file online.
Did
As that number that,
someone update those Excel files with their requests via email?
you have an example? You could give us a specific example.
I forget who it was, but she was one of the guests on the first date.
Sally got hers in, yeah.
Okay, so that was updated.
Was that the 3,000?
Joe, do you have the spreadsheet open? Can I ask you to look at that number?
I believe it's application 43567.
She didn't get fully funded, but she got a lot more than she originally asked for, which is really nice.
Okay. But that is the same application.
Sally's application is the Swan Hope Press, and it was for $3,000 according to the spreadsheet.
Okay.
Okay, so when we take this vote, we'll have this whole line of stuff decided. But we probably won't put the news out until after we wait the 15 days to see if somebody, has come in and is appealing. Is that true?
Right, so the press release won't go out. No information should really go out until we've given everybody the 2 weeks to appeal. And then after we have our next meeting, which will be the 16th of February, then we can produce a press release and make the announcements, and we'll be completely done. And then we can file our annual report with the state.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
it does.
And just to explain to people as well, once the annual report has been filed with the Mass Cultural Council, and then the check will come from Mass Cultural Council and be deposited in the city's account for us.
And in that case, I'll have to look at the letter again, but people can request the money ahead of time before they have their event, right?
Yes, once the money has been deposited with the city, then we'll send out a press release, and then they can then start requesting their funds.
So they will get their letter before the press release. Or they should.
Well, we haven't discussed that yet in terms of a date when to send that out.
Okay, another question I have about something that hasn't come up before, I'm sure. If someone has an extension and they have funds, and then they put in for more funds, how are we going to do that?
Joe, I have no idea.
Would you?
Well, so it's handled exactly the same as any other year. So they would have to submit a final report for last year for the funds they didn't spend that they got to spend this year. And they would have to file a separate report for the grant that they received from us this year.
Does that mean that before we give them this year's funds, they would have to have completed last year's event?
No.
So they could essentially have, I don't know, $4,000 in funds from us without ever having done an event.
Yes, that's correct.
Does that make anybody nervous?
No, they need
Not
more.
at all.
Not at all. They need to spend to get their things going when this thing is over.
Okay, all right.
In the 4 years I've been on the council, and I don't know the history, but in the 4 years I was on the council, we never had anyone run away with our cash.
No.
So I think that we'll be in good shape. And there's a liability anyway in the agreement that the folks have to sign in order to receive their check.
That's the importance of having a final report as well, to keep that tracking.
Okay.
Does that
Can we
cover-
see that spreadsheet?
Yeah, Joe, can you share?
Yep.
You have a better computer. Does that cover your questions, Eileen?
Yes,
Thank you
it
so
does.
much.
Well, except for the one, we will put the press release out and then mail everybody their individual letters. That makes sense to me to do it that way, to put the press release out first and then put the grant letters out.
I'm open to whatever you guys did last year because I don't remember, but I would like to get a press release out with the names of who we're funding even before all that stuff happens later in February. And then maybe we do a secondary one in March after people can, when people have they can start getting their funds. I'd like to do 2 if you guys are open to that concept. So one would just tell the public that, hey, our grant cycle is done. And these are the events that we're planning to fund this year. And then after the grantee let packets go out and they're able to get their funds, then we would have a secondary, maybe with some more firm numbers.
Okay, so
That-
when would my letters go out?
Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I understood that after our appeal process is done, the packets could go out.
Yes, that's correct. We have to get through the 2-week appeals period to make sure that we don't have to go back and revisit any grant applications. If we do end up revisiting grant applications and find that we need to adjust our funding decision, then we would have to go back to meet about how we're funding all the grants.
I understand that.
That's send out letters until we're completely finalized, which will likely be at our February monthly meeting.
Okay, so the February meeting, I can have the letters ready to go by then, so I can drop them in the mail the very next day, unless we have to make some changes. But I think it's the wisest thing to do. I would like to get them in the mail before the press release goes out.
Yes,
So
that
you
will
don't-
happen.
Yeah, okay, so you don't have a bunch of people calling you saying, well, when am I gonna get my money? When am I gonna get my money, you know?
Yep, the packages will already go out. It takes a little while for the press release to go out because it has to be run by the mayor's office
Oh,
to
okay,
be approved for us to display. And it doesn't happen overnight generally.
okay, all right, well, then I can do that. I can get the letters ready to go out the next day.
So Audrey, I have the spreadsheet up. Do you need me to scroll down or over? Any
Trying to
particular
find
part
the
of it?
one from the Forge Theater Lab. They're the ones that requested to change the request amount from 1,000 to 2,000, but they didn't tell me what the
What is their
application ID
application?
was. I'm not sure. Does anyone remember which one was the Forge Theater Lab application?
I believe it is 44695.
Every moment, page 187. Let me take a look.
It's either that one or 39557. I believe they're both Forge Theater Lab.
Casey, what are those numbers again?
39557.
The every moment 44695 is not the Forge Theater Lab.
Okay,
Okay, so yeah, it's 39557.
page 56.
So the spreadsheet has them at $1,000.
So yeah, they requested to change it to 2,000. I think didn't they come on to speak about it? I thought they did. It was Pam.
We have them in for 2,000, 39557. We have them in for 2,000. At least I do.
Their request on the application is for 1,000.
Yeah. Well, I do.
But they sent an email on January, sorry, not on January 9th, on December 14th, saying, Joseph Bowen has emailed me regarding the opportunity to change our grant amount request. I was unable to open the application and the phone number at MCC's voicemail was full. I called several times. Joe suggested I email you. I would like to increase our request amount from 1,000 to up to 2,000. The application ID is, oh, sorry, guys, 39557. And I did not see that email until after the deadline had passed, but they,
Did we take a vote on it?
No,
I don't remember us, yeah.
no, we didn't. We certainly voted to approve them.
We voted that they were eligible for the funds they requested, which was 1,000.
Yeah.
And did not take into consideration their other requests.
I think it was mentioned when we went over it, but because we weren't talking about you know, how much we were going to grant them, we didn't really have that discussion.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second on the table to fund as described. We can continue to take that vote, or I forget who made the motion. If that person would like to rescind their motion to approve this, we could go back and adjust we could take a vote on adding additional funds, and then we can go through the exercise of figuring out what our new cap is and where to spend the extra money. And I'm willing to walk people through that exercise.
So the first motion was Claudia and the second was Matt. So that would be up to you, Claudia.
I make a motion to pass.
Well, you had made a motion to pass. We're asking if you want to withdraw your motion so we can reconsider the Forge Theater Labs addition of $1,000 for their request.
Okay, I make a motion to withdraw.
Okay, so you wish to withdraw, just a yes or no is all that's necessary.
Yes,
Okay,
I'll second that if you need me to.
no, it's all set.
Okay.
It's just the motion's off the table.
Okay.
So then what we will do is we go over to this application. We're changing this request to $2,000.
I'm back.
Are you okay, Jim?
Yeah, my wife is stuck on the other side of Fitchburg, so I may have to go and get her.
Oh, no.
And the roads are still pretty bad.
Do you need me to send my husband to go get her? Are you okay?
No, they're all set for now.
Okay, so that puts us at with an 1850 cap on that. Let me just make sure the math is right on this line. Okay, with that, with an 1850 cap on all the eligible ones, we are at an $854 deficit. So I'm going to try to do some simple math on this. And that the ones that we are adjusting is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 applications are being adjusted. Because they're over the cap.
Actually, Joe, yeah, so the Stratton would be over the cap too, but that field was leveled out. The Stratton-
Okay, wait a second. Let's see.
Yeah, so
Which
there
one
are,
was their application? I want to just check that line.
keep just going up a little bit. If you just go, it's arts and ancestors, artists and ancestors, up page 265 up. I lost it. There it is.
I got it.
2000, and then, yeah, so that field.
Okay, so I got to put them back at the cap, so we'll drop down by 150. Okay. Okay, so just redo my math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 applications are over 1850. And we have $704 in deficit. If we take 704 divided by, did I say 7 applications?
Yeah.
8.
Okay,
8.
divided by 7. Each application, if we were to drop them by $101. So that would drop the cap to $17.49. So add $101 to each of these.
Was it not 8, Joe? 8.
I don't know. Someone agreed to my 7. Let me count again. 1, 2,
I thought it
3,
was 7.
4, 5, 6, 7. It's 8. All right, it's 8. We'll go back to this.
Don't mind me. I'm terrible at this, but I was up to 1:30 staring at this thing.
All right, so we have $704 in deficit and 8 applications. So it's $88. It can't be that easy, can it, huh? All right, so we're going to drop the adjustment. Or I'm sorry, we're going to raise the adjustments in this column by $88 each. So this one is $32.38. This is 60, 50, 62. Oh, no, that's not right. Raising it, 88. So 238. Gonna raise this one, 88. It's gonna be 338. Oop. 238. That's going to be 383.
Next one is 1238.
This is 1238. That's right. And that's going to be 738 and 238. And so we go back down here.
Wow.
We are out of money. We're even. So what we've done, I just want to check here. We reduced the 1850 cap by $88 to 1762. I'm just going to make it.
Can you repeat that, Joe? 1762?
I've adjusted it to 1762, but I don't want you documenting that just yet, Matt, because
Okay.
I want to go through the other applications and see if they're fairly funded by comparison. This is where we get into the mathematical gymnastics that I talk about every year. So the highest we're paying out right now is 1762, and I just want to check to see if that's exactly right going forward here. No one's higher than 1762. And no one's higher than 1762. So I think, in my opinion, it's still fair and equitable as to how we calculated it before. This would require no additional funding added from our administrative funds. So the new motion, if it were to mirror the last one to a certain respect, just taking into account the change in our cap, the motion to put on the table would be to approve a 1762 cap and fully fund all other eligible applications.
That's 1752.
1762.
62. Okay, glad I asked.
Yep. And Audrey, thank you for catching that.
I think it's a good time to make a new motion to spend our $45,236 on all these grant applications with a 1762 cap.
Motion to approve?
I second it.
One from Audrey, a second from Miriam. Okay.
It was a motion by Casey.
Casey, did I say Audrey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're the same.
We're not.
So Casey and Miriam, anybody want to speak to the motion and the math that Joe just helped us do? No? Joe, may we move it to a roll call vote so we can spend our money?
Sure, I'm gonna just stop sharing here so I can see everybody's faces. All right. Okay, Miriam,
Yes.
Audrey,
Yes.
Tamar,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Jesse,
Yes.
Eileen.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, everybody. You've funded all your applications in one vote.
Woohoo.
Okay, well, I'd like to then redo all these numbers, at least the big ones, and send someone a list of everybody that I've got and what they're supposed to get. Who would be the best, that's before I start doing these letters, who would be the best person to send that to?
Actually, yeah, you can send it to Tamar, sorry. But Eileen, you have access to the spreadsheet that we just reviewed together. You're more than welcome to make that your reference material.
Okay, that's fine. I have a spreadsheet that I made,
Okay.
just so I could follow what was going. And so I just be quick to redo that and send it to Tamar, just to make sure I have everybody, the right people on the list and the right numbers.
Yeah, perfect. I'm happy. I spent a lot.
Yeah,
Joe
you have the last one, so.
deep in that thing, so I'm happy to look over it again for you. And Joe will help me if I need help. And thanks, Jim, for all your accounting today. That was a lot.
Welcome.
All right, well, that finishes our grant business, except for any appeals that we may come in, and then getting our packets out and the press release in the future. So that's all I have planned tonight. This was a lot to get done, so I'm excited. So if anyone would like to make a motion to conclude this evening, you can all celebrate, and we'll reconvene.
I make a motion to conclude.
Okay, thank you, Miriam.
Don't do it quick. We've all done a great job. That's great.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Claudia. If anybody else wants to stick around, otherwise, Joe, I think we can say goodnight. Is that correct? Do we need to vote?
Yeah, just if you put your hands up, say you agree to adjourn. It's all good.
See you all in.
Everybody's hands.
Nice job, everybody.
See you in
Yeah.
February.
Okay, thank you. Good night. Good night,
Yeah,
guys.
Tamar.